Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, June 14th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the price you see over here will be changing, and the candlestick you see right there will be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, ticker symbol AI, really came back to life to get again today. Volume exploded, and the price made a fantastic move. And AI has been a very popular stock. And when popular stocks form nice little patterns, it can certainly lead to self-fulfilling prophecies. And that's what we have here. So let's map out this pattern here. So you got to think that a lot of people have taken note of this $45 mark. Twice now the price has been up there, once and then twice. And both times the price has been rejected back down. So that doesn't mean that it's impossible to break through there. It just means that you got to think that a lot of people are probably now paying attention to $45. And then along with that, you have a nice uptrend line like that. So let me change that to green to represent more so the bullish part of the pattern, and then make this pattern just easier to see. Let's keep it one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the explosion right here. Let's put our golf ball down here to make it a little bit more visual. So this would be a bull pennant pattern. So while there are no guarantees, again, when a lot of people are watching the same things and wondering the same thing, is it plausible, is it valid to think that if the price comes up here and breaks up through that $45 mark, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible scenario. So if you like bull pennants and you like these sorts of types of setups, I'd certainly keep an eye on it. Next one, IDEX, insane amount of volume today. And like what we just looked at with AI, got to think that this is a very well-known pattern. You got to think that there are a lot of people have drawn that trend line down like that, and at the same time have drawn a similar area down across here at 8.5 cents as a level of support. So again, let me change that to green to represent the bullish part of the pattern, and then keep it one color. And I'm going quicker through this one because you just heard me say this, so I'm not going to waste your time and repeat myself. But we have this resistance, we have the support, we have the big move up, we have the golf hole down here. So like I said, no guarantees, but is it valid to think that if the price comes up here and pushes up through there, that break could create additional buying pressure? Absolutely. So if you like penny stocks and you like stocks down around the 10-cent mark and you like bull pennants, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one, NIO, good solid day here. Got the break up through that area of resistance, and this is what brings about our first update. And this is just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of resistance are broken and closes above, you want to see them act as support. So moving forward now, if there is any sort of pullback, $8.50 is going to be that first ideal level of support. So keep an eye on that, even though the price isn't really anywhere close to it. I'm going to go ahead and delete this line out. That served its purpose for now, and I don't want to clutter up the chart with too many other annotations. So in the near term, like I said, 850, one level of support. From more of a bigger picture point of view, continue to watch that purple line there. 50 period moving average currently valued at 824. But again, keyword there being moving. So as time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher, and therefore that value there will be changing. But 824 is its current value. As far as levels of resistance, once again, same general idea of these self-fulfilling prophecies. You got to think that a lot of people have drawn that trend line right there. So as you now know, guarantees nothing, but makes it plausible that if the price comes up here and pushes up through there, that break, even if it is just a self-fulfilling prophecy, could very well create additional buying pressure. So definitely keep an eye on NIO, as it's certainly a popular stock. Next one, AMD, and this is tricky to talk about from a presentation standpoint where I sit, because it's all a matter of perspective. Meaning, if you're a day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there, or maybe you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 20 minutes after buying, from that perspective, the chart looks really, really bad, because yes, there was a very big pullback today in AMD. However, if you care about the big picture of things, then you're going to care about more than just a couple of days. So let's look at a couple of weeks, and you can see here that the overall trend is still very much so in the upwards direction. Again, I understand if you're a day trader that bought right there, you don't really care about this point of view, but that's why I'm trying to differentiate between someone that cares about more of a day trader standpoint and big picture point of view. So if this pullback does continue, very interesting area of support that you got to think a lot of people will be watching is that pink line there, which on my chart denotes a very well-known, very famous 200 period moving average, currently valid at, let's just call it $120.25. So keep an eye on that from a pullback standpoint. And then in terms of levels of resistance, key level here, Going to go ahead and get a little trend line drawn right there, which puts a current level of resistance up there right around the 133.50 mark. In more of a near term, though, the 126.50 mark would be a more kind of relevant level of resistance. But like I said, what I want to mainly convey is, yes, today individually, very, very bad day. But looking at multiple days, you can see here the trend is still in the bullish direction. Next, AMC. So we were just looking at AMD as in dog. Now we're looking at AMC as in cat. And another nice move here. Good solid break of this area of resistance that I talked about in yesterday's video. So gapped up, consolidated, and then have had a very, very strong late morning, early afternoon. Bit of a pullback here, but as we just talked about, assuming you are not some sort of day trader that bought right there with a plan of buying and selling within 7 minutes, well, then the overall chart is still very, very good looking as it put in a higher high, higher low. So I'll go ahead and get rid of these levels here because now from a support standpoint, and yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these because this level has become even more irrelevant. But from a support standpoint now, I think the most easiest way to look at this is to monitor that pink line there, which, as I've mentioned earlier, the 50-period moving average. So as that line moves higher and higher, it's basically like a trend line that's going to draw itself for you. But as long as the price stays above that quote-unquote trend line, then the overall strength is very clearly in the bulls' favor. As far as areas of resistance, if this thing does try to come back up, then right around $5.10 seems to be the newest problem point where the momentum disappeared a couple of times. But all in all, higher highs, higher lows, that's what it's been doing the past few days. And as long as that remains to be the trend, then everything else will take care of itself. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering here in just a couple of days. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then certainly get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and the broken record continue. Or I guess I couldn't say it yesterday because yesterday I didn't quite put in a new high, but we're back to putting in higher highs. So new high that's been put in here, not all-time high, but a recent high. Got a nice breakout of this pattern that I drew in yesterday. So first update, I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that. As I mentioned earlier, when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So moving forward now, this former area of resistance would now be considered an area of support. In fact, classic example here on the power of charts, you can see right here, gapped up, ran up, came down, found some support at that former breakout area, and then back up it went. So classic example there of technical analysis. So keep an eye on that 251 mark. And then as far as areas of resistance are concerned, nothing fancy, just a question of, well, where did the party finally stop today? And the party finally ran out of steam right up there at the 260 mark. So 260, if the trend continues, only a matter of time before that thing gets broken because it seems like Tesla just puts in new highs every single day. But all in all, the trend continues. Got a nice little consolidation here going on. So not just a question of if this trend does continue, then very well-defined 260 mark, which a lot of eyeballs you got to think will be watching. Next one, NKLA, and let's just start with maybe what you noticed right away. Very, very clear level of resistance right up there at the 96-cent mark. You can see once, twice, 3 times the price got up there, could not push through it. Once more, does that mean that the price will never, ever be able to break through it? I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that that's a level that now stands out quite a bit, which reintroduces that whole idea of self-fulfilling prophecies. So from a resistance standpoint, keep in mind an eye on that 96-cent mark. As far as supports are concerned, have an interesting level down here at right around that 86-cent mark. So from a pattern standpoint, resistance, support, big move up. You could call this a nice little bull flag pattern. What makes this, I don't want to say ruins the chart, but kind of makes you go, This last 30 minutes, pretty nasty pullback occurring right now. Not on gigantic volume, but I mean, volume is certainly, coming in relatively strong, but big pullback as I speak. So that would be the one thing that you want to make sure that this doesn't, isn't some sort of leading indicator of more carnage to come. But, one 30-minute candle doesn't make or break a chart either. So like I said, you don't want to put too much emphasis on it, but I think an observation worth at least noting. Next one here, SOFI, and once again, higher highs and higher lows, so the uptrend continues. I put in that trend line right there, but I mean, I'm not going to try to talk my way around it. That trend line ultimately didn't really prove to be that valuable at all. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that. And yeah, sometimes that happens. You'll put in a trend line and you'll look and say, nope, that one definitely didn't. Nobody really cared about that trend line other than me. So that was one of those where only Clay cared about that trend line. But you know what? That happens sometimes. So as far as this trend line is concerned, you got to think that a lot more people will be caring about it because that's a pretty basic one. Just identifying some resistance areas, drawing that down. So well-defined level, SOFI continues to get more and more popular. Sort of already was a popular stock. So when you have the popularity combined with these well-defined areas, you just have that much more reason to think that there could be a self-fulfilling prophecy. So keep an eye on that from a resistance standpoint. And then as far as supports are concerned, if there are any sort of pullbacks, right there around $9.20, an interesting level. But like I said, in my opinion, most interesting dynamic is all about that level. And can the price get up there and break through it? And will that create a big move upwards? Worth, like I said, keeping an eye on. Next one, FWBI. And wow, is this one ugly looking chart. But you longtime viewers know what I'm going to say next. But there can be opportunity in the ugly. Now, if you're not going to manage risk, you're not going to honor stop losses. I mean, you shouldn't even be trading. But you definitely shouldn't be trading anything like this. But the level here that's pretty interesting is this gap close location right down here around $1.20. No guarantees, but if this thing can get more and more ugly, is this the area? So that's kind of the big question. Is this the area where everybody waves a white flag, says, oh, it's game over, it's game over, this thing will never, ever go back up again? Because usually when everybody says something is absolutely terrible, those are the moments where you can tend to get bounces. And it has settled out here before, so it's not like this is some sort of random area. But like I said, there are no guarantees, and that's why risk management matters. Because if this thing just continues to bleed and bleed and bleed, you don't want to turn into a bag holder. But if you do get a bounce, even if it's just a modest bounce, compared to what was being risked, you could be looking at some very good risk-reward ratio. So if you like this price range, you like this sort of context of, wow, that's an ugly-looking chart, but you think you can still find some opportunity in it, then certainly watch it. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. So if you believe the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to go up, this one will also go up. It just allows you access to the market at a much lower price point, which makes it very popular. So first up here, I'm just going to go ahead, now that we have more data, adjust this area of resistance up to what seemingly is more so 39.50. And I should note that whenever levels of resistance need to be adjusted in the upwards direction, that's always a good thing. But you can see 39.50 presented problems many times before. Good news is the price is still well within striking distance. So while that guarantees nothing, it certainly does make it plausible that the price could very well give it another go and break out through it on Wednesday. So 39.50 going to be that main area right there. As far as supports, yeah, you have this overarching level down here at 37.65. What I'm curious about is this little near-term area of support right there, that trend line. So let me get that in there. Change that to green. Use a different color green. So in all actuality, just have ourselves another bull pennant pattern here that's formed. So overall, though, higher highs, higher lows. The grind continues in the Qs, and now it's just a big question of can 39.50 not necessarily be broken above, but maintained above and separated from. That'll be the the pressing question on Wednesday. So we'll see what happens with it. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to go and get signed up for the class. It'll be soon, Thursday, June 15th at 7 p.m. Eastern time, so I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, if you'd like for me to continue to make these, please do two things for me. Hit the like button, leave a comment, say hi, tell me what you traded today, tell me what you're watching tomorrow. But those two things help out the channel and let me know that you enjoy these videos. And as long as I know that you're enjoying, I will continue to put in the required time and effort to get this content out to you. So again, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and go get signed up for that free class.